folks, I've been a bit all over the place in the past few weeks. Literally, I've been up to Scotland, I've spent a bit of time in central London, and I'm now in Wales. And I have not been doing a huge amount of reading, but I have read a few, or listened to a few audiobooks, and I thought I'd share those while they're fresh in my mind, and because all three of them were absolutely fantastic. And then at the end I'll quickly talk about what I'm reading at the moment. So this first book is called 1,000 Paper Birds by Tor Udell, and this I actually came across because of the cover, and I'd seen it before and I sort of looked at the cover and thought, oh, that's very nice. But then there was an article about the cover and how it was made in Spine magazine. And I read that and realised that this book is set at Kew Gardens, which is my absolute favourite place in London. This was a surprising book, so I won't go into the plot of it too much. It's something that you kind of want to discover for yourself. But it centres around three characters. The first is Jonah, who is a man who is mourning the loss of his wife. And then we've got Chloe, who is an artist, and she's making this art installation out of paper. And then there is the elusive Harry, who is a groundskeeper at Kew Gardens. The main themes of this sort of centre around memory and loss, and there's this wonderful moment in there where Jonah finds a lost piece of clothing and he wonders where he should take it. And then he thinks that there really ought to be a place for lost property, but not just hats and coats and scarves, but a place for hopes and dreams and memories that are otherwise forgotten and left behind. And that's a beautiful idea that comes in quite early, and we see sort of echoes of that throughout the book, including in the way that Chloe makes her art. So I won't go into how their stories kind of link together. It's something that you really want to discover yourself, but mental health is another issue that is very prevalent in this story, and there's a question of whether Jonah's wife killed herself or because she had been depressed before that, and that's something we find out more about throughout the story. So again, that's probably all I'm going to say, but I would really highly recommend this book. I haven't heard it talked about a lot, and yeah, I think a lot of people would really enjoy it. The next book has been talked about quite a lot, and that's why I picked it up so soon, because I'd seen both Jen and Simon's reviews of this and just thought this is going to be a wonderful book, and oh my goodness, it was. This is Tin Man by Sarah Winman, and I read a book by Sarah Winman a couple of years ago called The Year of Marvellous Ways, which is also wonderful and I would highly recommend. This is a very short read. I listened to it in one sitting, and it is the story of two men, Ellis and Michael, and they are friends since childhood, and it's about how their relationship sort of turns into something more than just friendship as they grow older. When Ellis marries Annie, the relationship between the two men becomes more complicated, and we also see some of the dynamic between the three of them, and it is set over quite a long period of time. We get flashbacks as well. This is one of those books where it really is all about that relationship, and although we know from the outset that it's got the words heartbreaking and devastating all over the cover, but it didn't feel like a sort of typical doomed gay romance, and it has many elements of that. It deals with the AIDS crisis and it deals with repressed sexuality, but something about it feels a bit more, I don't quite want to say optimistic, but I think it just does something that I haven't quite seen before in gay literature, and yeah, I would highly recommend that you pick this one up. Yeah, quite a different sort of relationship. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to spoil anything. So the next book is The Chariot Here by Mary Renault, and I haven't read any Mary Renault before, but I definitely want to read more. And so this is another gay love story. It's set during the 1940s and it's primarily set at a veterans hospital. The main character is there for an injury that he got during Dunkirk, and while he's there he falls in love with a conscientious objector called Andrew, and at the same time he is reacquainted with a man that he admired and was sort of his mentor during his school days at boarding school. So what I really liked about this story is that I'm not generally into World War II stories or war stories in general, but when I do read them I like to read them from points of view which are kind of from the margins, and this definitely has that. It has that in 3 ways, and the first is of course that the main character is a gay man and he sort of moves in these circles that develops over the story where he meets more people who are like him. So he has his own kind of perspective. And then we have the fact that it's in a hospital, so all of these men are, or most of the characters, are injured in some way, and those are injuries and disfigurements which are going to probably affect most of them for the rest of their lives. So we sort of see how that might affect them going forward. And then thirdly we have Andrew, who is a Quaker and a conscientious objector, and he's working there as a nurse, but the veterans who are, or the patients in the hospital, are very, very disparaging of him, and they're real bullies to him, really. So we get a bit from his perspective when he's talking with the main character, and that's another perspective that we don't often see in World War II stories. So that's something I really appreciated. Going into this I didn't know a lot about it, and I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading more of Mary Reynolds stuff, and I would highly recommend this one as a good place to start. As for what I'm reading at the moment, I've got a couple of things. Firstly, we've got the Firewords quarterly magazine, and I was very kindly sent a copy of this from Firewords, so thank you very much. This is a collection of sort of short stories and poems, and yeah, it's a literary anthology, but the difference with this is that it's all illustrated, and we've got a variety of different illustrators for each story, and it's very, very beautiful the way that it's all put together. I mean, you see from the cover, and they're all on the theme of escape, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading some more of this and seeing how the different illustrators have visually interpreted the stories. It's very colourful and yeah, very thoughtfully put together, and yeah, I really admire what they do at Firewords. So I will leave a link in the description on where you can buy this issue and also past issues. And most excitingly, oh my goodness, I was sent a proof copy from the publisher, Two Roads, The Beginning of the World at the Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night, which I'm still getting sort of tripped over with my tongue. But this is Jen Campbell's new short story collection, her debut short story collection. I've read some of Jen's stuff previously, some of her short stories that she's sort of been working on, and some of her poetry. At the moment I am about a third of the way through this. I've read quite a few of the stories, and I know I'm biased, but I think that this might be my new favourite short story collection ever. Don't know, is a bold statement, but it's one of these ones, and I'm sort of thankful that it is short stories because of this, where I want to just keep reading, but I have to stop myself and finish a story and then sort of digest it, because there's so much going on, and I feel like if I rushed on to the next one then I would be losing out on something from the previous one. I mean, you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you don't pick this up when it comes out in September, I think it is. It's coming up very soon. We got the release date on here? Maybe not. I'm pretty sure it's September. If not, it's November. But this is the night proof. There's also another proof copy, which is the day proof, which is, I've got the little thumbnail of it there. The finished cover is going to be it's going to have elements of both of these, which is just super cool. And I've been really enjoying, as I've been reading along, finding little elements from each of the stories in this cover. So it's kind of like an interactive experience. I love it when book covers do that. I get so excited. So yeah, absolutely pick this up when it comes out, because like I said, only a third of the way through, but absolutely in love. So next time I speak to you, I will probably be back in New Zealand. I'm back in New Zealand on Sunday, which is very soon. And yeah, I'm hoping I can just really crack down and do more of my design work. I'll probably get some part-time work when I get back as well. But I've been enjoying that the past 2 days. I have spent in Waterstones in the cafe here. I'm in North Wales at the moment, so I was in Llandudno. And just sitting and working on my book covers. So I've got heaps done. I've got a whole heap of new work to show you guys hopefully very soon. That does include the complete set of the Harry Potter covers, all coloured and finished with gold foil and the cloth bound finish. So I am looking at ways to get those published and produced in some form. Maybe as postcards, maybe I'd quite like to do them as a little booklet with the drawings on one side and the finished covers on the other side. But we will see. Have to look into sort of printing costs and things, potentially as prints as well, but we will see. And thank you so much for all of your support while I've been doing this. It's been great to hear feedback and hear which ones are your favourites, and yeah, just your different interpretations of them. So thank you for that. Anyway, I will see you again soon from the other side of the world, back to the edge of the world. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!